What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the shop. Last video we got the T4 flange mounted to the apron there. Started mocking up the exhaust going from the headers to the flange itself. And I'm still waiting on the V-bands and flex joints and the stainless pipe. But I figured while we're waiting on that, I'll go ahead and install my crossover brace that goes from the shock tower to shock tower. Kind of support the aprons. We'll get that installed. I'm going to install my turbo assembly as well. We'll get the intercooler installed and a couple other little things in there to kind of help me figure out what I need to do or how I need to mock up the intercooler piping from the turbo. But I'll go ahead and get my camera set up, start installing all that, and then see what we come up with. Alright, got everything in the engine bay, got our turbo in place, got our intercooler in place, got the distributor, got our crossover bar, throttle body with top hat, the blow-through hat on here, you guys can see. You guys also notice I had to take a couple things off, put things back on, kind of move it around or figure it out. Some of these things I could do before, really easy, but since this engine is just slightly bigger and wider, I did have to move a couple things around. Like this top hat here used to sit, this one, used to sit under this bar. So that's actually a drastic change as you guys can see. It used to sit underneath and go right into here. So some slight differences. I figured I'm gonna go ahead and start with this guy first. We're gonna get this piece, this little lip cut off here. We're gonna get a 90 in where the intercooler is at, set it up, get it welded in place. One of the reasons why I bought a TIG welder, to practice, to learn. I wanted to be able to weld aluminum. Try to use as little couplers as possible on this thing. So as you can see on the old, that's just one of them. And that one there's got three couplers in it. I'm going to try to eliminate all those and just have a coupler at the intercooler side and the top hat side. Right here. We're going to start with that one. Get that one all done up. And then when we go to off the turbo side, as you can see, just the placement where it's at right now, there's going to be some pie cuts and everything. But right now I'll get the camera set up. I'll get one of the old pieces that I'm going to use, kind of get some measurements taken, get it cut, and then see what we come up with. Alright, we got part one done. As I said before, this is the easy side, pretty much a straight shot from the top hat there to the intercooler. I still think it looks pretty good. Definitely a straight shot. Let's see here. As you can see, got it marked. So when we get it off and weld it, everything lines up pretty good. Made sure I had room for the blow-off valve here right above the valve cover, which I do. More than enough. It's not sitting in there all funny or twisted up. Actually sits in there kind of freely. Doesn't have any weird funky twists to it or like I'm trying to make the pipe or the coupler do something it's not supposed to, which is good. There's a lot more that I could say for the first time around. I had that thing bent and twisted everywhere to try to get up underneath this brace here, but now we're going over the top. It's just, everything just fits nicer. But that was the easy side. Now I'll go ahead and get set up. Try to get this housing clocked in a position where it just seems in a way where we can start building off this guy. Most likely it's gonna have like a maybe a little more than a 90, and then try to wrap up around the hose here. The other one, the old one, went over the hose, so I don't think it's gonna be too big of an issue, but we'll get it coming off the turbo, start routing it up over the top here, and then come across probably right in this area, just over the hose, as straight as possible. Try not to get too crazy with it. I think the craziest part will just be coming off the turbo housing itself and then wrapping up over the hose and then going into the intercooler. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get myself set up. Start. I got a bunch of 90s or the 180s that I can make into 90s. Got a bunch of straight pieces I can make some pie cuts out of. But I'll get myself set up. Get myself a bunch of pie cuts all ready to go, and then we'll just start building off the turbo and see what we come up with. Alright, got our intercooler piping from the turbo, the intercooler all mocked up. See, I started off with these guys, about 10 or so pie cuts. But then while I was doing that, I started thinking that I already have one intercooler piping coming from the intercooler, going over our little support bar into the top hat there, or the blow-through hat. Figured there's no reason for me to do a bunch of pie cuts. I really originally wanted to do it because I was going to try to keep it in this little hole right here. Then I got to thinking that all those pie cuts would probably cause a lot of back pressure in there, and probably end up with like maybe, I don't know, 10-15 pounds of back pressure in here to try to get 5 or 6 at the throttle body. So I decided against it and went with this idea. It's a much smoother transition. Everything flows a little nicer, as you can see. Get a little bird's eye view for you. Looks a lot cleaner. Plus, I've only got about 3 total welds now for both pipes, which is awesome. Definitely look a lot cleaner. So what I'm going to do right now is I'll go ahead and get myself set up. We'll get both of these pipes out of the car, get them tack welded together, then get them back in the car, retest fit them, make sure they didn't move around too much and they still fit inside the couplers good. But if everything turns out, then it's we're going to keep it this way. So yeah, I'll get myself set up, get them tack welded together, and retest fit them in the car. Got our intercooler piping all done. As you see, I went ahead and got the ends of the tubing bead rolled. Going for the couplers. I know I said I was only going to tack weld it, but started to have so much fun on the TIG welder that I went ahead and welded it all up. As a matter of fact, I'll show you guys my welds. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. So you can see there, that is weld number 1. A little fat. Not the cleanest, but it doesn't look like that Dippin' Dots ice cream. Looked like it did flow in. It melted in a little bit. I did blow a hole in it right there. But that's weld number 1. I'm not going to get too carried away with it. I'm going to leave that just like that, just as my progress. You come over here, you can see weld number 2. Definitely a little cleaner. I was getting more comfortable as we got around. You can see I started here, got a little hot, started to melt it again, but then we started getting better as it went around. And then right next to it's weld number 3. Started getting a little more comfortable. I don't think I blew any holes in this one all the way around, but you can definitely tell that I started getting a little better as I was going, which is really cool. Thing's a lot of fun. Some of the dirt wasn't all completely my fault, but this is the intercooler piping we got from eBay. Doesn't seem to be the cleanest, but if you turn the amps up and like really scrub it before welding, you get a lot of it out. And make sure it's definitely heated up before starting to apply the rod. I found that definitely helped me, especially on the 3rd weld there. But that's how that's going to stay. That's how we're going to keep the intercooler piping. I should be getting, I got my V-bands today. Hopefully the flex joints will be here in the next couple days. Then we can get finished up mocking up the exhaust side of the turbo setup, which will be a lot of fun. We're getting closer and closer. I cannot wait to hear this thing fire up. I know some of you guys can't either. But yeah, so once we get the flex joints, we'll finish up the exhaust and then get ready to pull the engine out of it. I've got to change the motor mounts, weld the drain into the oil pan, weld up the shock tower here where we cut the lip off it. Shouldn't take too long. Nothing's real. Everything's just kind of sitting in there. 1 or 2 bolts, hand tight. Shouldn't take any more than like 20 minutes to get everything back out of the car. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know I had a lot of fun doing this setup, and I can't wait to finish up the exhaust. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for me. Turn on notifications. Hit that like button. Share with your friends. Greatly appreciate all you guys hanging out with me. Help me build this channel. Definitely love the comments. Each video that I upload, I seem to get more and more comments, more interaction. It's awesome. Anything else you guys like to know, or even like some of you guys out there are TIG welders, maybe a couple pointers, that'd be awesome. I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, I'm gonna end the video right here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for me if you haven't already, and catch you guys on the next one.